Way ah, way ah, way.
Way ah, way ah, way. Way ah, way. Way ah, way ah, hey oh, way oh, hey oh. Tap way oh my.
Welcome to EarthSounds, where we talk about
Skina
Native news, Native
wa.
music, and
Gan
everything Native
kamoye.
related.
Gaki o esque wa kayo. Way ah, way oh, hey. Way ah, way oh.
You're listening to Earth Sounds with Raven's Purple Haze here on Spreaker Radio. Good morning, everybody, and all my Native relations out there. Today, pretty much is a show about Well, it's been a while, so I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. It's been crazy busy in my life, both having a job, not having a job, this government being shut down. I won't get into politics right now, but I figured one of my shows, which I miss doing a lot, is my Earth Sounds. And so hopefully for everybody out there, I want to thank you very much for listening here to me, Raven's Purple Haze on Spreaker Radio. Um, and hopefully, if they like it, iHeart will pick it up, and that's what's next on the agenda. So I figured I'd start with some native round dance, and I really, really like the round dance music. I like a lot of Native American music um, from many different genres. So what can I say? I'm back. I'm playing music. Today's show pretty much has a couple of things. Being that Halloween is so close, I do have something Halloween related. And from now up until then, I'll have something Halloween related in reference to Native American lore. So obviously, my favorite lore is Navajo lore of skinwalkers, which is probably, it's been made into movies, all that other stuff. I have some international news, some news from a friend who is I guess, Native, not I guess, I know she's a Native American activist, not only for her Lakota people, but for all Native Americans. Um, Speaks about everything that we could possibly imagine. Our treaties, uh, so many things that we are missing in our Native American environment, especially for those down in Pine Ridge, our women and children who have issues, our husbands who don't have work, all that rolled up in one. A very good friend of mine, Joanne Spotted Bear, I have something from her as well. Let's see. I also have something from the one of the. It's old. It's from 2012, but I thought it'd be interesting to play again. I think it's from the Turtle Nation um, elders, and I thought it'd be best to play that as well as music. So that is what today's show is going to consist of. I'm here. You can chat with me live if you'd like. Those of you who are in your car traveling, whatever you're doing, thanks very much for listening here. So with that said, I'm going to play a little bit of music. Starting with Wild Horse, and the song is called By My Side. Hoping you're liking today's show. This is Earth Sounds with Raven's Purple Haze. And here's Wild Horse.
Okay, boss, take it away. Here.
Dakuye o Wanita Chan Chewaki. Ni tu eso.
So I thought it'd be fitting to after this song because I like this is that was Celestial Dancer by Alice Gomez, and I figured it'd be fitting that right after that I'd play something um, reverent to what's going on now with the feeling. It's October, Halloween, so I'm going to play a lore, Navajo lore of skinwalkers. It's a story a gentleman is telling of what his father saw. So I hope you enjoy it. It's on, obviously, it's on skinwalkers, one of my favorite topics. um, so once again, I want to thank you very much for listening here to Raven's Purple Haze on Spreaker Radio. Like I said, it's been a while. I'm happy to be back. And here's some Skinwalker lore.
My father told me a story once. I'll never forget it, for a few reasons. I think it's the first story he ever told me as a child. It's also the story of how my grandfather died. But honestly, that isn't the reason. You hear stories on TV, or sometimes you overhear something in a public place. People talk about ghosts and aliens, and you think to yourself, that isn't real. They're making it up. They're mistaken. Or they're crazy. Something like that. You just can't believe it. Until something happens. Something that brings it all together. Connects the dots in a way that you didn't think before. Maybe it happens to you. Maybe you hear the same story again and again, happening to different people. It doesn't take long for the world to become a lot bigger than you thought it was. As I said, this is a story that my father told me, but I never believed it, even though he swore up and down that it was true. It wasn't until I started clicking around the internet that I started to believe. I started to hear other stories, just like the one my father had told me. It didn't take long for me to start believing. What I called it was not what my father called it, of course. He's never used the internet in his life. He wouldn't know what the consensus has taken to naming it. When he chose to call it something other than it, or that thing, he called it Skinwalker, after an old Cherokee tale his grandfather told him. But I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you it the way he told it to me. We were out hunting one night, he'd tell me. Coyotes. We'd kill 'em for $50 a skin. They lived on a dairy farm in Ohio. They'd kill calves sometimes. We'd do it every night because we needed the money. Sometimes while we were out, we'd come on a deer and kill it. Our landlord didn't mind, and it could feed a family for a few nights to save us some money. Anyway, we were done making our rounds and heading home, walking, because we didn't have a car or some four-wheeler back then. We cut through the woods. That's when we came up on it. Blood everywhere. Splattered on the trees, in the grass, in the creek. Everywhere. At first, we figured it was a pack of coyotes. We'd seen it sometimes. They can't scavenge and start hunting deer or cattle. The worst was when they breed with feral dogs. But this wasn't like that. See, when a pack of dogs or wolves or coyotes attack something, they do it right. They'll pick off one that's weak or sick or old or something small. They'll hunt it, draw it into a corner, someplace it can't get out of, and they'll run it right to the biggest one, the alpha. And that deer will never see that alpha. It might hear it, but it won't see it. It'll just notice that its throat is gone, and then it'll drop dead. It's quick, it's clean. That wasn't what happened here. Something had run up on a den of deer. Coyotes won't attack a den, wolves neither, because they'd get too much of a fight. There were 3, I think. 3 bodies, just torn apart. You'd see a head there, a leg there, a torso there. Predators do not do that. They don't leave behind scraps. What had done this hadn't done it for food. It had done it for fun. But we didn't know that. We saw a bunch of carcasses and we think it's something we gotta take care of. I remember my dad telling me to go home. He thought it was a pack of feral dogs. But I wasn't leaving him. And I damn sure wasn't walking through 2 miles of woods alone, with nothing but a .22 and a pocket knife. He was only 13 at the time, so a 22mm rifle was about the only gun he could reliably use. Dad had the shotgun, and I wasn't going anywhere without it. It took me a while to convince him, but we finally began tracking whatever did that. It wasn't hard either. We just followed the blood. Either that thing bled a deer before it got away, or it dragged one for a mile. I don't know. I know that I'd never seen my dad scared before that night. We started hearing noises. I've been in a lot of woods in my life. I've been all over the world, and ain't never heard noises like I heard that night. I heard things screaming. I heard deer, fox, rabbits, raccoons, and birds, just scared. Keep in mind, this is maybe 12 or 1 o'clock, except the fox and some birds. Nothing was supposed to even be awake. But they weren't just awake, they were moving. I saw flocks of birds that night, fly straight into trees, just trying to get out of there. We came up on a pack of coyotes, nearly shot a couple, thinking it was what we were looking for. But then, we saw they were running towards us. They ran right past us, didn't even notice. Then some deer did the same, then some rabbits, squirrels, foxes, even a couple wild hogs. These things were supposed to be eating each other, and the only thing they cared about was getting out of there. We should have put it together. That maybe whatever we were tracking, it wasn't something we were supposed to see, and it wasn't something we could kill. I don't know why we didn't just go home. I guess we were curious. I think that's my dad's nature, to go towards trouble, to fight. And knowing what I knew about my father did during the war, my nature was to stay close to him. We finally get into an open valley. It was normally a soy field, but it wasn't in season, so it was just flat dirt. We saw the tracks then. A lot of animals fleeing the forest had paved over the land. But where the deer blood was, nothing had taken a single step, like they were leaving it behind for us to find. The tracks were shallow. Whatever it was couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds, but that didn't mean much. A bobcat weighing 40 pounds wet nearly tore out my damn throat once. All that means is that it's quick and it's hard to hit. So we follow the tracks, and it doesn't take us long to find where it is. There's this old schoolhouse that sits on the top of a hill. Half of it had been ripped out by a tornado, but nobody lived there. Not for a long time. We caught homeless people in there sometimes, or druggies looking for a safe place to shoot up. We'd figured maybe that was it. Maybe it was some sick kid riding a high. But we didn't think that for long. We get within 50 yards, and we hear this noise. A screeching kind of sound. It was sort of made up of two different sounds. One was a high-pitched screech, another was a low-pitched growl. It was making both at the same time. We get within 20 yards, and we hear this sound. I can remember thinking that it sounded like paper being torn apart, while someone was swinging water in a bucket, back and forth. Dad looks at me, kneels down, and whispers, "I gotta stay behind him, 'cause we're about to corner him." Any animal will fight when it's cornered, especially when it's a predator. But we can tell by the tracks that it's just one. He tells me it's probably a single feral dog, probably rabid. The plan is to sneak up on it while it's eating, shoot it, then keep shooting till it don't move anymore, then slit its throat. And if it gets to Dad, it's my job to shoot it or stab it or get it off of him. So he walks up, and I'm right behind him, just a tad to his side, so I can see what it is. I wish to this day that I hadn't. It was leaning over a carcass, tears off its flesh, and throws what it doesn't nibble at aside. There's blood all over the brick, glistening in the moonlight. It's pale white, human-looking, but not quite human. It had arms and legs like a human, but it sat like a monkey, hunched over, and its hands weren't normal. It had long fingers with claws at the end. So we see that, and my dad hesitates. He wasn't about to fire on a person, so he clears his throat to try to get it to turn around. I swear to God, all the noise just ceased. I never heard true silence before that, and not after that. But for 2 seconds, nothing made any noise, which made it all the louder when it turned around, made this shrill cry, and jumped on my dad. He got a shot off. I think he missed. If he hit the thing, it didn't mind, but it was on him. Tears parts off of him. I start shooting it with a .22, point blank, but it barely bled the thing. I got off 5 rounds, and then I started hitting it with a gun butt, but it wasn't budging. It didn't even register that I was there. It's clawing at my dad, taking off bits of his flesh. It starts on his torso, ripping off the skin, and then it moves up. It tore off his throat, it tore off his nose, his eyes. It scalped him. Then it started digging in, ripped off the bottom half of his jaw, the little bones and that tube in the back of your neck, and then his ribs. I don't exactly remember what happened, but somehow my dad's knife ends up in the thing's shoulder, and my dad ends up on my back. I'm running, and by God, I'm running faster than I'd ever run before or after, and it's following me. I end up back in the woods, opposite the ones we'd been in. I'm heading towards my landlord's house, 'cause it's half a mile away. I can hear this thing screeching and moaning. I hear these tree branches crack and get thrown around. It sounds like someone's taking an axe to every single tree I pass. It's cracking so loud and often, but I just ain't looking back. Finally, I trip into gravel. I look up, and there's my landlord and a bunch of his buddies, drinking around a campfire. I scream and I cry, and they come over. I'm telling them to call an ambulance, and he looks at me, and I'll never forget what he said. "What is that on your back?" he asked me. Just as he said it, he saw one of those god-awful flannel shirts my dad wore everywhere. It was what was left of my dad. Most of his head, his torso, but nothing after the waist. Suddenly we hear it, screeching. He grabs me. My dad gets thrown on the ground. I'm fighting him, crying, 'cause I think we can still save him, somehow. But my dad had been gone whenever I'd picked him up. He has to pick me up and throw me inside before I come with him. He and his buddies were all inside, and they're locking doors and getting guns. The landlord asked me what happened, but I just don't know what to tell him. He pieced enough of it all together to understand that there was something dangerous out there. All the lights in the house are on, and someone calls the cops. They'll be there. But in 15 minutes, we look outside and see it walk in front of the fire they'd made. Don't know what it is. One of them says it looks like an ape. Suddenly, something goes through the window. We shoot at it, but ain't the thing. It's my landlord's dog. Just the body, though. Not his head or legs. We start pushing things in front of doors and windows when we hear something from the garage. I remember one of his friends saying that the doors were open. We hear metal and glass just getting ripped apart. We put a couch and TV in front of the door to the garage. It banged around some more, but then it got quiet. Not silent like it was before. We could hear it move around, and the guys were talking, making sure their guns were ready. Someone hands me a pistol. No sooner did I cock the hammer back did we hear something shatter upstairs. Then we heard it screech again. Except now it was louder, and it didn't echo and fade out, because it was inside. We all rushed to the one door leading upstairs. We got to it just as the thing did. It opened just a bit, and 4 or 5 men just slammed into it. It got its hands, though. Someone with a shotgun took care of that. Put the barrel right up to its wrist and pulled the trigger. Cut its hand off clean. That only pissed it off, though. It started pushing on that door and clawing. We were on one side, pushing as best as we could, and it was on the other, doing the same. That wood just wasn't going to hold, so someone tells us to keep our heads down. Suddenly, the top half of the door is just gone. My ears are ringing, and there are splinters everywhere. 2 or 3 of them just unloaded on the top of that door. I don't really know where it went after that. The police got there. It was glued to that door. What was left of it. The sun was up before they got me off of it. They put me in a hospital for a while. A lot of people talked to me, but I didn't talk back. Not for a long, long time. When I got back home, I got a job for the landlord, working on the farm. We didn't talk much, not about a thing. But I signed up for the army when I was 19, and he sat me down to drink some scotch as a send-off. I asked him right away what the police told him. The story they went with was a wild animal, probably a wolf, or maybe a bear that had migrated north. I asked them how they could say that when they had the hand. He looks at me, stunned. He tells me that the hand never made it back to the station. The cop who had it in his car wrecked, drove into a tree, died on impact. The hand was never found, probably taken away by an animal. The cops, when they would acknowledge the hand existed at all, said it was simply the paw of a bear that looked like a human hand. I never talked to that landlord again. He went missing when I was in basic. Never found him. They said he owed some people some money and just ran away, but I don't think it's that simple. I never went back to those woods. I wouldn't, even if I had the whole goddamn US Army at my back. But that was a lie. When my mother died, I don't think my father felt he had anything left, and that he might as well settle old scores. He went to those woods. He never came back. FBI was called. They did a show for everyone involved, but I knew they weren't actually looking. I had to get one drunk and slip him a few 50s before he finally told me they get a few calls about those woods every year, about someone up and vanishing. But that was all he wanted to tell me. Before he got up and left with the rest of his team, he wrote "The Rake" onto a napkin. I didn't know what it meant until I searched it on the internet. To be honest, I would have rather not known.
Whew, what a story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a Skinwalker story. I have plenty. If you guys have any stories that you want to submit to me via MP3, please do so. My email address is L_I_HONEY2002 @yahoo.com. Go right ahead and submit those. Any type of lore story, Native American based, would be appreciated. So we're going to keep on with this wonderful show for today. We've been on for 38 minutes. Like I said, I hope you're enjoying today's show with me, Raven's Purple Haze, here on Spreaker Radio. I'm going to play some music and hope that you're still listening out there.
to the plains, I'm told. Blow, Dakota, blow. From away up east to where the weather gets cold and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And she said, I hear there's been trouble down here. Blow, Dakota, blow. They said trouble, we've been getting trouble every year, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Anna May made a vow by the fire that night. Blow, Dakota, blow. That she would give her life to the people's fight, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And then the voice in the whispering wind did say, blow, Dakota, blow. Somebody's gonna get hurt someday, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. In 1972, blow, Dakota, blow. Trouble in the Pine Ridge settlement grew with the cold Dakota winds that blow. And in 1873, blow, Dakota, blow. The trouble exploded a wounded knee with the cold Dakota winds that blow. And in 1974, blow, Dakota, blow. There was a backlash beating at everybody's door, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And then the warning passed from tongue to tongue, blow, Dakota, blow. That there was trouble a-comin' with the federal gun, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Oh, they took Anna May off the jail one day, blow, Dakota, blow. But just exactly why I never would say, but the cold Dakota winds they blow. And they wanted some facts and they wanted some names, blow, Dakota, blow. Oh, but Anna May wouldn't tell them a thing, but the cold Dakota winds they blow. She said, kill me dead or lock me away, blow, Dakota, blow. 'Cause that's what you're gonna be doing anyway, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Then they said, alright, you're free to go, blow, Dakota, blow. But just don't say we never warned you so, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Anna May went out for a walk one night, blow, Dakota, blow. But she never lived to see the morning light, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Oh, it's a mystery, I heard it said, blow, Dakota, blow. How Anna May died with the bullet in her head, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. Oh, the story spread both far and wide, blow, Dakota, blow. How another daughter of the people had died, and the cold Dakota winds they blow. And the people came from many a mile, blow, Dakota, blow, to lay her away in traditional style, while the cold Dakota winds blow. And the song upon the drum was sung, blow, the cold to blow. And the sky covered over and the storm did come with the cold, wind to blow. And the voice in the howling wind did say, blow, the cold to blow. Somebody's gonna pay someday for the cold, wind to blow.
Alright, guys. This next thing that I'm going to play has a lot to do. It's from my friend Joanne Spotted Bear, who is a Native American activist. Also likes to talk about the injustices that occurred within Native American community, what's going on in the community itself as of today. This excerpt that I have is an old one, but I think it's befitting, being that October 12th is coming around and everybody celebrates Columbus Day and everything. So just remember, this is old, but it has a lot of interesting, informative stuff. Hope you enjoy. This is from my friend Joanne Spotted Bear.
Aho, Madakya relatives. My name is Joanne Spotted Bear. I'm your Director of International Native Indian Programs Incorporated. Also, I'm from Wounded Knee, South Dakota, of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, sovereign nation where 300 men, women, and children died. I want to say thank you for reading the writings that were posted. I know I posted quite a lot of information, but all that information is there for you to have knowledge. Not only do I want to remember those who died, but those who fought in wars, those who given everything they could possibly give so our people can live. In today's society, we have to remember that we have a lot of people who are drinking and doing drugs and living in poverty, suicide, genocide. Our veterans who are fighting for the government and Native Indian world wars worldwide, elderly abuse, child molestation, our traditional ways that are being abused by people like James Arthur Ray, and the Cobell case, who wants us to sell our land. This is a form of what is called perpetual war. You also have to remember that who is watching us are the Oglala Sioux tribe, Larry Echohawk from Washington, D.C., the Obama administration, Queen of England, the Pope, the United Nations, and people of the world. There's going to be many people. And when the people of the world come here, they were told to sign a paper to abide by the laws of the country you reside in. Not many people do that. Just ask my friend from Germany. She came here, she wanted to sign papers, and she didn't, but she did give say in an area where she's not from. She's not from the Red Nation, she's from Germany. She has no business signing any papers. Nobody does. Not even Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, or anybody, but they do. The very first one to the very last one must pay the price of genocide. That means Christopher Columbus. By making him pay, we admit that he has syphilis. There is no Indian on the Red Nation that knew how to read, write, much less knew what syphilis was. So those writings are done by the white people themselves. Myself, Joanne Spotted Bear, my Indian name is Matomiya. I promise to give my life to all those that have died. I will find this so so-called God and make him pay for every tear that dropped on my relations, the Red Nation. I would like to talk about the 13 indigenous grandmothers. One of those 13 indigenous grandmothers was my Aunt Beatrice Weaselbear. None of these 13 indigenous grandmothers were on ABC, NBC, or CBS. 564 tribes went to Washington 2 years in a row. None of them was on ABC, NBC, or CBS, except for My Tribe TV, which was on the internet. And last year, they were December 16, 2010. I didn't hear nothing about it, so I don't know what happened there. If anybody has information, please get a hold of me. The Straw Man Act is where they gave us birth certificates and social security cards, made false promises this year. How are we going to get our sovereignty back, our sovereign, and gain sovereign, our sovereign rights on our own land? Is to turn back in all social security cards and birth certificates as we make a transition back into the Turtle Island of the Great Red Nation. This morning I spoke with Wambli Omani, and him and I had agreed that the best way is to reclaim our status by giving all birth certificates and social security cards back to the federal government, and having them resign their status because they cannot or will not abide by our treaties, and then revoke all treaties that were ever signed on the Great Red Nation. We proved elderly abuse through the LakotaOyate.net, and not only that, there was also a video made, the Wellbriety Movement Journey to Forgiveness. Our people want to forgive, but they cannot forget, and they want freedom. The only way to get freedom is to give back everything and anything that the government has given to us, and take back what is rightfully ours. The Ferris is that the people in the armed forces, they cannot sue while serving in the military. That means being a cop or in the military itself. The wars we have helped the government fight, and they're treating our people as if we owe them our lives. We don't owe the federal government our lives. We don't even owe Obama. We do not owe the 5% rich our lives. We are the people of this land. They should be paying us. Instead, they're letting our people die as if to say we don't care. There's only two kinds of people, the original and aboriginal. We are the landholders of this land. That means this land belongs to us. So if you're looking for answers, please pay attention, because I must too. I too must pray in a most humble way and ask God for forgiveness. And I too must ask Creator to help, so He may help our people. Relatives, there's a little over 4,500 people on my webpage, and I ask that each and every one of you pay attention as we work through this the best way we can. We learned that America for the New World, clearly named after Americo Vespucci. That means America is not a country. It's named after a man in the feminine aspect of America. Why didn't they name this country America? Well, that's a good question. I'd like to know. On October 12th, on the 12th of October, 1492, Christopher Columbus was the first to reach the land, the west of America, on the Bahamas. Christopher was followed by Vespucci. Okay, so the next one is America is no country. Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states as follows. Article 12, no one shall be subject to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor attack upon his honor and reputation. Everyone has the right to the protection of the law against such interference or attacks. That means they weren't supposed to kill our people, but they did it anyway. The reason for my corporation entity number is because over 1,000 tribes have went to Washington, D.C. Over 564 tribes went there 2 years in a row, 13 indigenous grandmothers. We have AIM marching across the United States. The only answer that I find, relatives, is that all 1,000 tribes pull what is called the fiduciary duty of trustee status away from the federal government, and we no longer do business with the federal government, and we ask them to be removed off of our land on the international level. How do we do this? We have to give back all social security cards, birth certificates, and anything of any meaning. We can and will have our own schools, our own way of life. As it is, we do have our own traditional ways. We have sun dances and sacred ceremonies that we can start to teach the people. Those who are mutts, we ask you to strongly pay attention, because this here is no longer a joke. It's been over 519 years, and we, the Red Nation, are the solemn owners of this land. This land was left for us to do with what we choose, not to be treated the way anybody wanted us to be treated. So no white person on this land is in no moral position to call anyone freeloaders, not even John Stossel of 2020 or Donald Trump or anyone for that matter. In other words, they are what is called forgery. Forgery is act of spontaneously, falsely, and knowingly presenting an item, product, or service with the intent to deceive. Okay, so they have deceived our Indians, and we're sick and tired of it. We don't want this government on our land no more. The Howard Wheeler Act is to keep the natives oppressed. If it was not true, we'd never have to ask for help, and that's exactly what we're doing. Trading with the Enemy Act is where no military can go to China or Russia or Japan or anywhere and talk to them and at the same time make trade with them. Unfortunately, that's what our government does. So what I'd like to do is ask you to bear with me. I'm going to stop right there, and I will make another video, part 2 to this. Lemiacha Matowi Ahemiacha. This is me, Bear Woman, doing the best I can to help our people. I want you to have hope and faith in all of us, and those of you who can help us and have education, we need you. Those of you who pray in the most sacred way, we need you too. And our children, we need you to learn your traditional ways as best as you can. At least pick up a song. There's peyote songs being played on this. Please, I strongly advise you to start learning.
So there you have it, guys. My friend Joanne Spotted Bear, once again, activist, Native American, Lakota, sister, whatever you want to call it. I cannot say anything more about my people except most of the things that she fights for is something that we've been fighting for a very long time. Going back to Pine Ridge, other, I guess, reservations in the United States that do not have as much money, or that have money that is misappropriated, that's not given back to their people properly. So she fights for all of us. She's one of many. I have some songs coming up, so I hope you're enjoying today's show with me, Raven's Purple Haze. I've been gone, but I did not forget about you guys, and I am enjoying today's show. And here's some peyote songs for you, Joanne. Have a good day.
Well, no,
listening to Earth Sounds with Raven's Purple Haze here on Spreaker Radio.
Abojo nigani akin and this nikaski don't do them sagging don't you ba. Our recent gathering of the indigenous wisdom keepers, a message evolved from the elders, and they titled the message A Declaration to Spirit, and I would like to share it with the rest of the world. Out of the lodges of our peoples, we are being told we have entered a time of great change and opportunity. The cougar, moose, and eagles recently came into the community in the sagging territory where the gathering was to take place, and asked us to speak on their behalf about what was happening to the land. Supported by the grandfather drum, the gathering of indigenous wisdom keepers sends this urgent and prayerful message to the world. We are the original free and independent peoples of Turtle Island, extending back to the beginning of time and spirit, in keeping with our original instructions given to us by the Creator. We have a sacred responsibility to our ancestors and our future generations. We also have a ceremonial responsibility to the waters and to our traditional lands and territories for the sake of Mother Earth and all living things. Everything has a spirit. Spirit is the life force of every human being and lasts forever. When we rise in the morning, we acknowledge the sun as a way of honoring and celebrating the spirit of life itself. Our spirituality is our life. Our traditions contain the knowledge and wisdom accumulated by our ancestors and contained in our languages. It is one of our teachings that the beauty of nature is the face of the Creator and results in our deep and abiding love for the land and water. Water is life. As humans, we are born through the water of our mother, and the women are responsible for the waters of Mother Earth. An acknowledgement of the sacred feminine is critical to the transformation needed at this time. It is one means of ending the epidemic of violence by men against women and the neglect and abuse of children, which is destructive to our families, communities, and nations, and detrimental to our future generations. These symptoms are the result of a human spiritual disconnection from the land and from the healing comfort and beauty of Mother Earth. Now is the time to come to the understanding that we cannot respect the future without respecting what makes the future and what makes the future possible, specifically our women and our children. Our healing wisdom and traditions continue to live on, carried and taught by our elders, who are precious to us. Without the kindness and the compassion of our elders, we would not be able to carry out our spiritual way of life and our ceremonies, through which body, mind, spirit, and heart are fully connected. Through our songs and ceremonies, sacred fires and our prayers, and prayer bundles, and the original instructions of our sacred laws, we are continually reminded that all life is interconnected and that all the colors of the human family and all forms of life are relatives. As a result of this suppression of the cultures of our ancestors, the modern world has been prevented from understanding the wisdom to be gained from our ceremonial-based cultures and our earth-centered traditions. Our children need to be returned to the center of our families, communities, and nations. By mentoring our children, supporting the rites of passage for young men and women, we affirm our sacred balance, health, and well-being. Because of the thousands of years of experience with spirit, the First Nations and peoples of Turtle Island have unique gifts to share with the world for healing what has been wounding the human spirit. The answer that every human being is looking for is within the spirit in each and every one of us. We have always acknowledged that spirit is a very significant element of our life. Spirit defines who we are. We are all bound by spiritual and natural laws. How can we collectively connect with spirit? Acknowledging spirit and showing our gratitude. Join us on June the 21st, 2012 to fulfill our responsibility to honor all spirit and all life. We invite people throughout the world to join us on that day by making an offering of water to Mother Earth with thoughts of love and thankfulness. This sacred act will invoke the Spirit to guide us to a good life, and will let Mother Earth know we have not abandoned her.
Even though that is about a year too late, uh, for me to play it. I thought it was interestingly convenient as to the times that are going on now. So once again, I hope you do like my show, Earth Sounds, here on Spreaker Radio, with me, Raven's Purple Haze. And normally, these are what my shows are pretty much like. They have music, they have lore, they have stories, they have poetry. Sometimes Mr. Trudell, not personally, but he's one of my favorite activists and speakers, makes his way on my show. So we all could listen to his fine words. Um, but right now I have a song um, for all the mothers out there who have young men, young boys in their lives, sons who they cherish and love. And I'm going to end the show with this song, and I'm going to dedicate it to all the moms who have um, sons who we care about so much. And befitting because I had a conversation with my friend once again and sister Joanne Spotted Bear. We were talking about how they grow up so fast and how they just sometimes they just want to, oh my God, your mom, that kind of deal. But I figured I'd play this for her, and I hope she enjoys this. But this goes out to all the moms out there. So here is a song from Fawnwood called Mommy's Little Guy.
Hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, we are, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Do you know I love you so, and mommy will never let you go to the stars and the sky. You'll always be mommy's little guy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, we are, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Do you know I love you so, and mommy will never let you go to the stars and the sky. You'll always be mommy's little guy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, we are, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Do you know I love you so, and mommy will never let you go to the stars and the sky. You'll always be mommy's little guy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, we are, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Do you know I love you so, and mommy will never let you go to the stars and the sky. You'll always be mommy's little guy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
And with that, I conclude my show for today. So hopefully, within a couple of days, I'm trying to come back here on Wednesday. It's going to be every other day. I'll have about an hour long show with more native news, native music, native stories. Um, so, like I said, thank you for listening here to me, Raven's Purple Haze, on Spreaker Radio, to my show, Earth Sounds. And with that said, everybody have a very good day. And once again, thanks for listening.